Okay, guys, this is a reasonably difficult part of the assignment, so you're really going to need to focus on understanding this, okay? You all will have the same exact point of view or light source, I guess. You're going to have a sun or a light source directly above the center of your page, so it's going to affect all 5 images the exact same way, okay? So let's talk about what it would look like in terms of just one object. So we're going to start with a square, okay? And I've got my sun up here. Which of those 4 sides is getting direct sunlight? The top one, right? It's coming straight down. You guys from math class, you guys are math geniuses. That forms a 90-degree angle, right?
Yeah.
Are with me on the geometry there? Okay. If it's getting direct sunlight, what color do you think you'll shade it?
White.
White, it slowly fades into the dark.
If it's getting as much light as it can get, we would just leave it white. Okay? It's entirely reflection. It's 100% white. Now, if the sun was right here, what is happening to this side right here? Is it?
It's getting sunlight.
If I drew that in perspective like this, you're saying this side's getting direct light? Is it in the shadows?
Yes. It's being like here. The thing is going like that, right? It's in the top.
It's going like that.
The top.
It's not really in the shadows, is it?
It.
But is it getting light?
It's getting sunlight, at least.
It's kind of on that threshold of getting light and not getting light,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Medium.
Because that sun is coming straight down there, right? So it's not really in the shadows yet, but it's not really getting any light. So that would be what we would say a 5 on our value scale of 0 to 10. It would be a perfect middle gray. Okay, so we would shade this whole side over here a 5. While this top is getting direct sunlight, right? So we would leave all of this up here white. Make sense? Okay. So let's try this. That same sun, that same square, how much light is that getting down there?
None.
It's as far away from the sun as it can get, isn't it? If I drew this in perspective this way, like
That
this,
would be a 10.
this would be a 10, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Because the sun would have to go all the way down here, stop, turn around, and come straight back up. That's a 10. So all of this would be black. Now, raise your hand if you're 100% you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, raise your hand if you're a little fuzzy. You're not quite sure, but you've got a pretty good idea. Okay, Harley, tell me what you think. This, and the hard part is this. You've got to imagine it with the shape itself, not the vanishing lines. Okay? That's where it gets difficult. If we do that square again, let's do it over here. Okay? Before I even draw the vanishing lines, I don't even know where they're going to go, I can tell you what each of these lines is going to be in terms of the value scale. Okay? And if you understand angles, which I think you do, we'll be able to figure it out together. This is the angle that we're getting on that top line. Is that 90 degrees? No. Okay? And it's not coming from over here, which we know would be a 5, right? This is 0. This is 5, right? So what would this be? 2-ish, 3-ish, 2 or 3, right? In that range? Okay, so let's go ahead and label that. We'll just say it's a 2. All right? So now we've got a new angle. We're going to look at this one. And here's the angle. What do you think that is? It's getting light, right? The sun can see that side, but it's almost to that threshold of being in the shadows. Right here is 5,
So.
so it would be
6
4.
or no, okay.
Because it's getting light, right? So it's going to be on the light side of the value scale. It's going to be on the lower value. Okay? Now, let's go to those other two sides. They're a little more challenging. Okay? Look at that angle down here. This would be a 10, right? So what do you think that is? All we did was scoot this, I mean, if we had a square right here, that's as far away from being lit as it can be, right?
It'd be 10.
So what would this be? We just move the angle over a little bit. It's close to 10,
9.
9. Okay? And then you come over here, and that angle is not quite as severe,
7.
maybe a 7. Okay? You guys getting the idea here? So if I decided to draw my vanishing lines this way, all of this would be 7, and all of this would be 9. And that's how we would shade that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try something a little more. What if we did that? Mr. Sadler, how do you shade a cylinder? Are there going to be sharp edges on it? Probably not, because it's smooth, right? So it's going to be a very smooth transition from where it's reflected to shadow.
When you start to like darken it, like as you go around,
You would, but we have to determine where that is.
like where the sun is, like see like how it is, come straight down. So like almost like halfway at the beginning.
Okay, well, you're going to tell me where that is, okay? This is my clock face, right? 12, 6, 3, 9, right?
Something like 1 and like something like 1 or 2.
Between one, like 1:30 is getting direct sunlight. So you're saying like right about there is about as direct as sunlight as that circle is going to get?
What they show you or
No, because I think that's right. I mean, is that the shortest distance to that circle? Yeah. It's going to be getting quite a bit, right? Harley?
I get it.
No. So if this is direct, and we know a direct is 0, right? Where would 5 be? Where would a 5 value be? Where it's not really in the shadows, but it's not really lit.
Like about between like 3 or 4.
Like here?
A little bit higher.
Here?
Yeah.
So you're saying that is where it turns into this almost but not quite, right?
I guess that's your wife.
That's white?
No, I guess that's your wife calling you.
Whoever it is can go away. This is going to be a 5. Okay? Now, we have to do equal increments between 0 and 5. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So if I decided to draw my vanishing lines this way, I would draw really, really, really light vanishing lines for those. And they would go to that vanishing point down there. So that would help me see where that transition happens. So this right here would be my darkest value. This might be a 6 right here, all the way down. And then I would do 5. All the way down, and then 4. But the trick is you want to try and get a nice smooth transition from one to the next. That was the phone call. Everybody gets it. We got to figure it out. So you want to make this a gradient, okay? A smooth transition from the value of 6 to 0, and then maybe even up here it might go back to 1. Okay? Everybody okay with that? But you've got to follow the vanishing lines. You've got to stay consistent to stay in that perspective. All right? Start with your easiest shape. Start with the most basic shape. And remember, you're looking at the shape and how the light is reacting with the shape, not with the vanishing lines. Once you figure it out on the shape, apply it to the vanishing lines. All right? You may.